Welcome to Conveyancing Matters with Lorraine and Stu. Join us for a chat about all things property.
Hello, hello. Hello, Stu. How are you?
I'm good, thanks, Lorraine. How are yourself?
Yeah, I'm very good, thank you. And I'm very, very thrilled to, we've got two guests, which is very exciting and unusual for us on Conveyancing Matters. So we've got Simon Brown, founder, director, and all-round good egg in terms of the ESTAS, and we have got Ben Marley, the ESTAS sales director. So with really no further ado, Simon, can I pass over to you? Hopefully conveyancers are watching this. I think lots of agents will know about you and the ESTAS, but if you want to tell us a little bit about you and what the ESTAS are and how they came into being, and then we'll ask Ben where he fits into the into the pantheon.
Absolutely. Well, we started the ESTAS awards 18 years ago.
Really?
18. I know I don't look old enough.
No.
Did
you start it with your nan?
Yeah, exactly. It was 18 years ago, and the whole premise of it was we wanted an award scheme which was based on customer feedback rather than the usual subjective judging panels. That was the whole premise about it. So pre-internet days, we used to send out literally questionnaires to estate agents that used to take part. They would then forward those questionnaires to their customers. The customers would fill them out, send them back to us, and we would put them into a simple computer program, and that would give us the results. So, and the principle of that, although of course we've got the internet, that hasn't changed. So the ESTAS awards are based purely on customer feedback from clients that have gone through the whole moving process all the way to completion. And that makes it an incredibly powerful marketing tool when you're going out to your clients as an estate agent and saying, we've been rated one of the best agents within our region or our county because the clients that have used us have rated the service that we've provided. So that's how it started. And obviously it's grown. So we now have conveyancers and mortgage brokers involved. We have got plans for lenders to be involved as well. And because everything's digitized now, every single agent, conveyancer, broker has access to their own dashboard, and they can see the feedback. They can see the customer reviews that are coming through. So organically, ESTAS has become a customer review platform for property professionals. And that's where Ben comes in. I'll introduce him in a second. So effectively, as an agent, conveyancer, broker, you have an annual subscription, which is £79 a month. You can then invite your clients to give you customer reviews, which we know nowadays are absolutely crucial for any business. You can stream them out on different social media channels. You can stream them out on your own website. We can duplicate those reviews into Google reviews, which is absolutely crucial. That in a nutshell is what the ESTAS is all about. We still have every year, and we've got one coming up in 2.5 weeks' time. We have the annual ESTAS event, which is our awards, which are taking place at the Grosvenor House in London for the first time ever. And this is the first time that we've announced this publicly. We are officially sold out, which we've never been before.
Oh, fantastic. Congratulations.
Yeah, so 1,200 very happy agents, conveyancers and mortgage brokers will be descending on the Grosvenor House. And Phil Spencer, who's our brand ambassador and has been since 2004, will be announcing the winners.
Oh, it sounds fantastic. So Ben, where do you fit in?
So I joined Simon about 1.5 years ago, and Simon and I had known each other for about 3 years before that.
Yeah.
And we've been having conversations about how, with my experience, because I basically have come from the review space. So I used to work for another review company for 5 years, looking after their property sector there. And from my conversations that I used to have with agents, because I built a portfolio of over sort of 5,000 branches that used to use my last company. And it was always the big conversations used to be like that. This is okay. It does what it says on the tin. but I really want to try and get more out of the reviews that are currently being collected.
Mm-hmm.
So part of me coming on board was very much to kind of evolve our offering and help drive that forward in terms of, okay, what are our customer base actually wanting? How can we help deliver that to them, rather than having conversations like any supplier? You know, we're led by our customers, you know, and rather than us going to market saying stuff like, oh, good news, we've released this, and they go, oh, that's a nice to have. The way that we're doing it is that we are effectively taking feedback from our customers about our product and about our offering, and actually now devising that in a way that actually we're meeting the needs of our customers based on what they've told us, rather than it being us trying to second guess what our customers want and what we think our customers would want, you know. So
that's a really interesting point, Ben, because funnily enough, I mean, Stu and I spend a lot of time, you know, sitting on Zooms with each other, saying that quite a lot of offering in the, you know, the property space, as people say, is quite often produced by people who, you know, give solutions to problems that we don't have, and often haven't thought about, well, for example, you know, and maybe we'll talk about this, what an estate agent might want out of the ESTAS might be something slightly different to what a conveyancer might want out of the ESTAS, and what a conveyancing firm might want. So Stu, you know, but PCS have embraced the ESTAS. So I mean, why did you go for it? What's the deal for the law firm?
The main USP for PCS and the link to the awards is that these are our clients that are giving the feedback. And that's really, really important, because other platforms that are out there don't regulate reviews. So often we'll be targeted, you know, from clients that could be in chains. We'll be targeted from maybe competitors. So reviews, you know, might not emigrate from our clients. So we use it for two rationales, really. The first is that the reviews are all from our clients. We send them the links, etc. It's directly our clients that have given us a review on how they rated our service. And then secondly, of course, it's a platform where we can, you know, access those reviews and improve the services we provide. But it's you know, it's to the point. You know, a client's just completed, we can send them the link or whatever, and then, you know, they'll leave the review. So it's live feedback on the services that we provided. Very similar to what we used to do, and to what Simon's actually already discussed. We used to send them a questionnaire on completion. Send them a questionnaire, 2-page questionnaire. They'd tick a load of boxes, and they may send it back if they could be bothered. And of course, in this day and age, they certainly wouldn't, you know, be bothered to send it back. So I suppose it's almost a ready-made platform for us to obtain that information from our clients. And then, of course, if we get lots of good reviews, you've got the Brucey bonus that you know, you could be put forward for the awards and so on and so forth, and XYZ, and you can then see other firms that are doing the same kind of thing. So it's got a dual purpose. To me, it's getting the direct comments and information from our clients that have used our services, and then we can act on that information as well.
Simon, what interests me about this, and because it's very rare that actually one can say this and mean it, but you genuinely were massively ahead of the game. I mean, massively ahead of the game, given that the ESTAS have been around for 18 years. So, I mean, how have you noticed clearly the review market has changed massively in that time.
Yeah.
I mean, was there any point at which you felt, you know, that your business model was threatened a bit by what was coming along? What, you know, or have you evolved as a result? Or, you know, where do you see yourself sitting in the market now? Because it's a very different place to where you were when you started.
Sure. Yeah, I think the thing is with awards generally, industry awards, there's always a bit of cynicism from a lot of people in the marketplace. And no matter how many times we banged on and promoted the fact that the judging panel, our judging panel, is the customer, it's thousands and thousands of customers. But no matter how many times we've tried to get that across, people just think it's an industry awards. Oh, it must be a judging panel. It must be done on the basis of how many tables you buy, or, you know, whether you advertise, etc., etc. And so there's a limit to the number of companies that you can get to sign up to enter an award scheme. And to be honest, if you've got too many, some firms have put off entering because they ultimately want to win. You know, and if there's thousands and thousands that are entered, then they're not going to take part. So, you know, changing our perception from being an awards platform to a customer review platform which powers our awards, that is the process we've been through in the last 2 years, really. And we're really, especially with Ben coming on board, really starting to make some ground now and changing people's perception. And I think the other thing is that 4 or 5 years ago, customer reviews were a nice to have. Now that they are absolutely essential. I mean, I saw some research from Google recently, which says that they've worked out on their data, of which there is quite a lot, that 70% of the buying decision by a consumer is made before they contact you, purely on the research that they do online about your business. So if your website isn't displaying real, genuine customer reviews from clients that have used your services recently, I mean, that's the other thing. Like, you can't have testimonials that don't have a date on them. You can't have testimonials that don't have a name against them. And they have to be recent, and they have to be coming in on a constant basis, because we're all using reviews almost subconsciously when we're buying other products, you know, anything from, you know, buying a kettle to a car. You know, reviews they're just part of the buying process now. And I think agents have understood that quicker than conveyancers. And there are some out there that obviously appreciate that, and Stu is one of them. But it's something that conveyancers have got to understand. And I think as the heat comes out of the market and things do slow down, those displaying those reviews is invaluable to getting new business.
Well, what's interesting about that, and straight off the back of that, Simon, is that quite a lot of, you know, the sort of, our risk analysis, our self-awareness, our CQS accreditation, what our regulators are saying is a lot of that is all around, well, how are you evaluating the services that you offer? And the Legal Services Board, for example, has just come out in the last week or two, basically putting pressure on the regulators such as the SRA and the CLC to sort of say, look, you've got to do more for your customers. You've got to your price transparency has got to be better, and this, how do you evaluate the quality of your service? Well, a lot of that is all around the the reviews that you get, and clearly if you've got a review mechanism in place to you can do that, and it's not just a case of ticking that box. As Stu said, it's something meaningful you can do. But Ben, how because clearly very well that the estate agency market is very different to the conveyancing market in terms of the people in it. So for the sort of busy pressured conveyancing firm who haven't literally looked up, probably lots of them from their kitchen tables for the last 18 months, what's your pitch to them? How because again, I still think a lot of conveyancers might see this as a would be nice to have at the moment. So, how easy is it for them to embrace it? What would you say are the, Stu's come up with the USPs, but what's your pitch to a conveyancing firm?
Sure. I mean, I think first and foremost, I would say almost park ESTAS for a second. And I would encourage any business at all to think more like a consumer than a business owner or a person working in a business. Because again, coming back to what, just echoing what Simon was saying earlier, if you think like a consumer, so recently I've spent quite a lot of money on decorations for a party that my wife and I have coming up. It's our 40th, and again, I know, just you're thinking you mean 30, right?
Couldn't possibly be.
Unfortunately, it is 40. But and we're on Amazon, and some decorations are like 30 quid, some decorations are like 5-6 quid. But you know what? It's the cheaper ones I'm reading more the reviews about, because I'm like, I'm more reluctant to go and buy something that's 5-6 quid if it's going to be rubbish than I am something that's maybe a little bit more expensive, which I might have a little bit more confidence in. So, and I work in the review space, you know, and I've worked in the review space for 6 years. And I'm looking at reviews there when I'm looking at spending, you know, less around £100 in a sort of single transaction on various products. You know, consumers do expect to be able to both leave a review based on services, but also they expect to be able to read them. You know, and as a business owner, if you are thinking, oh well, we're old school, or our reputation, you know, we're very well known. Well, that may have been true like 10 years ago or so, but actually your reputation now is what someone can see on their phone. You know, that is your reputation there. If I can't look you up and see that you have a solid reputation, you have lost that customer, you know. So from our perspective, kind of what we're trying to do is to really help businesses, you know, whether it be agents, conveyancers, mortgage brokers, etc. For us, one review, and again, it goes back to the feedback that we were getting from customers previously and how we've evolved our product. One review from us will be able to go to your website, be able to go to your Google reviews, we'll be able to push that into social media. So wherever people are searching, wherever people are trying to find you, or maybe even wherever you're promoting yourselves, it's an ESTAS review that can actually now be being found, or a Google review that can now be found, or a social media. Do you know what I mean? So what we're trying to do is hit in as many channels as we can, because if you think that people aren't looking for you, then you are thinking incorrectly, because people will be searching for you. You know, we've got a tool on our platform internally that allows us to be able to see the volume of searches that are being done on companies. And I kid you not, when I tell someone that their company is being searched 480 times a month, the business owner is like, well, that's great, we're being searched 480 times a month. Like,
yeah, but how many people are stopping by?
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
How many, you know, if you get 480 times that someone's been bothered, you know what you were saying, Stuart, about will someone be bothered to send something back,
Yeah.
right? If someone's been bothered to pick up their phone, and people use it like they use a phone book now, you know, if you've received some marketing or you've seen something, the call to action typically will be to call someone, but people won't do it. People will go and they will click on your website, or they will Google you. And that is the first thing that people do. It is a standard practice of every single thing that we do. You know, if you think about, like, let's say you want to go out to a restaurant with your respective partner, you're looking at spending 150 quid on, or 200 quid on a meal. If you Google a restaurant and it's got shocking reviews on TripAdvisor, on Google, on booking.com, wherever, but the website looks nice, and you've heard that it's okay, but all these people are saying otherwise, would you want to spend 150 quid? You might have to book a babysitter. You're not going to get many chances to go out nowadays, you know, who knows? If I'm looking for services, conveyancing services, and my mate down the road has told me that I will speak to, you know, Lucy, she was really good. Oh, okay, cool. First thing I do, I get out my phone and, oh, crikey, that isn't what I've now been told by here. But, you know, you might have like 60, 70 people saying that they're not very good, versus one person that's saying that they are good, you know?
Yeah, it's interesting. And actually, Ben, the point, you know, you saying that, you know, well, I always have the consumer client perspective, because, you know, I suppose I am old school in that sense, because, you know our clients, you know, they consume our services, but they certainly won't pick up the phone and ring a law firm. You see, you know, even more, you know, that issue I think is even more compounded. But
sorry to interrupt, Lane, but I think that's a really important point, because the consumer, the home mover, the home buyer doesn't understand the conveyancing process. They don't want to understand the conveyancing process. They're not interested. All they want to do is they want to sell their house or buy the house. So, you know, it doesn't matter whether your website has got lots of information about what they do. The consumer, the home mover doesn't doesn't understand that or want to understand. They do understand reviews. They do understand people that have used your services and been really happy with the end result. And I think that's really important. I mean, you know, I'm a middle-aged old fart, and if I had a dinner party with four couples that we know, and I said to them, one couple said, oh, we put our house on the market, and I said to them, who's your conveyancer? Chances are they won't know what I'm talking about. If I say, who's your solicitor, they obviously will. But people, they just don't understand the conveyancing process. And I think agents have a slight advantage because most people understand what the estate agent does in principle. But conveyancing is just this mystical, thing that sort of happens over there, in the mist, and no one really understands it.
Well, Stu, we talk about that all the time on Conveyancing Matters, don't we?
All the time. Yeah, we're always saying, the lack of sort of education to people buying and selling, and in terms of what we do, we're always seen as the form fillers, aren't we? The irony that we're protecting people from, that are investing hundreds of thousands of pounds is completely lost, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Well, actually, one of our guests, the lovely Charlie, when we saw him earlier in an earlier Conveyancing Matters chat, he said people have got blasé about money and people have got blasé about numbers, and they say, it's only 250 grand. And he says, no, I do stop people and say, no, that is £250,000. And it's that age old thing, isn't it? And it is a real cliche for a property lawyer to say it, but for most people that Stu and I will deal with, this is the biggest financial transaction of their lives. Yeah. And I think they do need to, if they haven't got people to ask for recommendations, they do need a way of finding a conveyancer / solicitor, and a way of validating their choice by, as you say, finding a review. And of course, well, Stu and I have also, Simon and Ben, talked about the the dreaded Trustpilot review, the firm that sued the Trustpilot a person that left the left the negative review, and the not, I think they weren't even quite a client, were they? They got stiffed for about 25 grand, didn't they? But Stu and I wondered, actually, didn't we, Stu, whether actually did that action backfire on the firm? I think it might have done myself. I
don't think you wouldn't be comfortable using them now, would you? I don't know. But
it's difficult.
You'd live in fear, wouldn't you? That if you backed out of something, that all of a sudden you're going to be lumped with a 25 grand bill or something. Do you know what I mean?
I do appreciate, though. It is difficult when you do get reviews from people that aren't your clients. It is very difficult, though. To take that, when somebody's saying X, Y, Z, and you think, well, we recently had one where somebody five up in the chain left a bad review. And it transpired when we actually found out, where this is emigrating from. We were acting for a client that had to block this person because they were harassing them. And our clients were buying a flat where there was a doubling ground rent, and we'd had to report it to the lender, and we were waiting for the lender to give their consent. Our client's absolutely fine. So when you then get that review, I do kind of have sympathy for that firm. But this goes back to my kind of, I suppose, at the start, one of the good USPs of your platform is that you're fishing for reviews that are from your clients, not from any old Tom, Dick, and Harry.
That's actually a very simple, important point to make. And I'm not sure many conveyancers appreciate the difference between platforms. Is that Trustpilot is what's called an open platform. Anyone can leave a review, whether they've used your services or not. ESTAS is an invite-only platform, so you're not going to get those rogue or fake reviews on ESTAS because you invite the client to complete the review.
Yeah, we had another one a month or so back, or a while back actually, probably more than a month, where the review said that PCS had advised that a boiler was serviced prior to exchange. Why did they advise right at the last minute? Blah blah blah. Anyway, as we're talking about the review, somebody's poked their head around the corner. I think I know who that is. I think it's in one of my chains. Anyway, found out it was, and it was our client on the day of exchange said, "Don't exchange contracts. I want to get the boiler serviced." And of course, we're then susceptible to the seller putting that bad review on about us. So I think that USP is really, really important. Like you say, Simon, it's not some rogue person that's never even experienced your service that's leaving the review. And then to put it in context, when we review those, you know, you're not wasting your time sifting through, you know, mountains of reviews that might not be yours. You are directly looking at reviews that are from your clients, and whether they're good, bad, or ugly, you know, you can go through those and look at different working practices for the future then.
You know, in the travel world, so travel was kind of the first industry to really adopt customer reviews, and TripAdvisor was like the first big platform to really come out there. And TripAdvisor has always been susceptible to fake reviews, because there was a point, I won't name the hotel chains in question, but there was a scenario a few years ago where two of the biggest hotel chains in the world employed teams to write fake reviews about the other hotels around the world on TripAdvisor, and it was a massive issue for them, and it was quite underhand, and I'm sure that the respective parties that were involved in that are hopefully no longer involved with those organisations.
I bet they are. Really, I bet they got a. I bet they got a promotion and a bonus.
Well, you
have to be careful what you say, Ben. You might need legal advice.
No. Well, I haven't named anyone, have I? You know, but it really does kind of, if we're trying to make a comparison here. If you think about booking.com, so booking.com is like one of the most respected platforms to book hotels, restaurants, etc. They operate invite only. TripAdvisor is open, and when you compare the two, you know, booking.com is, you can be rest assured that every single review that is on there is legit, because you have to have stayed at said hotel, or you have to have actually been to said restaurant to be able to leave a review. Whereas TripAdvisor, you could be in the hotel next door and there could be work going on, and you could write a review going, worst hotel, ruin my holiday, yada yada yada, yet you're sat poolside at the neighboring hotel. That's kind of the difference with us, and kind of echoing what we've just been talking about. Invite only is not only protecting you as your business, but we're actually protecting your consumers, because your prospective customers, and again, thinking about like a consumer first, we want to protect consumers and help consumers to be able to make better informed decisions based on real evidence, rather than potential hogwash, which is just written out there by anyone and everyone. And do you know what, you've touched on a couple of scenarios, Stu, today, where it's like, do you know what, it just causes you aggro, it causes you a lot of time within your business. You just don't need it. Do you know what I mean? So for us, it's really important to be able to help and protect our customers, but actually the bigger picture is we're helping consumers, and that is the biggest piece that I really encourage people to, again, think about when they're going to endorse any third-party review platform. Don't think, yes, there's going to be what's it going to do for me? How's it going to help your prospective customers?
Well, thank you for that, Ben. And Simon, I have to say I'm excited about the awards coming up on the 22nd of October, not least because, of course, none of us have been anywhere for the last 2 years. And I have to say, not that anybody will remember, but the ESTAS a couple of years ago, you know, has got a real, a real significance for me, because I used that, attending that and giving a talk on behalf of Rob at World Legal as the platform to say adapt law exists, and that was the real date, that was the real deadline to me to aim for.
October the 23rd, 2019. That was. Yes,
it was. And as I say, I got some fantastic photos, and it was just like a really significant day for me, as it happens. So I'm really looking forward to the event. So probably we ought to conclude this chat, because I think we could talk about it a lot, but I think there's a lot I think for law firms to think about this. And my view, very much with my lawyer and law firm hat on, is I think it is the exclusivity point, it is the confidentiality point, which is a big deal for law firms, and it is that, and fishing from your own pool.
Yeah.
But Simon, tell us a little bit. I don't own a dress, by the way, never have, didn't get married in a dress, so I won't be wearing a dress. But for anybody who is interested in nice do's, tell us a little bit about the awards before we sign off.
It is unique, as I said before, because it is based on reviews from real customers that have gone through the whole process with those firms involved. So it's very much about the hard work that those firms have put in over the last, and because we've not had one for 2 years, over the last 18 months. And let's be honest, there couldn't be a better time to actually recognise the efforts that those firms, and I have to say particularly conveyancers, over the last 18 months. I mean, I talked to Rob at Bold Legal Group a lot, and you can't underestimate the time and effort and the stress that those guys have been under. So it's a really emotional event. It really is. You've got a lot of family businesses, run businesses that come. So it's a massive day, and it's a celebration. I mean, that's the best word to describe it. It's a celebration of the hard work that those guys and girls have put in. We always do it. It's a lunchtime event. It's not black tie. And the reason for that is we've got firms coming down from Scotland, over from Northern Ireland, from the deep southwest. So it does mean that people can come to the event and attend and get home without having to get into expensive hotel accommodation. But it's just a really emotional day. Obviously, the odd glass of fizz is consumed.
No, surely not.
I do remember, and this is a completely true story. So Phil Spencer is our brand ambassador. He's hosted every awards, and we used to have our conveyancer awards as a separate event, as you know, it was in 2019. And we did the first one in 2017, and I approached Phil and said, would you be happy to host those awards? And he said, yeah. He said, yeah, no problem at all. He said, they're all a bit dull, aren't they? Anyway, so we had the first event in 2017, and that was the black tie evening function. And he said to me afterwards, he said, do you know what? He said, I never realised. He said, these guys party even harder than estate agents.
That's because we never get out. Simon. We're not allowed out.
That was my reply, actually. So yeah, it's just a great day. It makes you come away feeling that you're in an industry that actually is really important. And we were the first industry to come out of lockdown, weren't we? And there was a responsibility there to keep the economy going, and agents and conveyancers did that. There's no doubt about it. So hats off to them, and it's going to be a great day.
Well, I think that validation and valediction, Simon, is probably a really good high point to end this chat on. It's been delightful to see you both. Delightful to meet you, Ben. And Stu, might you? Shall we have a small shandy on the 22nd of October?
Just a small one. Just a small one. Yeah, just a small one.
I've actually asked the boys, Simon, to put a note on around my neck that says, "Do not give Jaeger bombs to this woman." So I'd like to get that out there to as many people as possible.
Is it one of those ones where you can turn around and it's got a different message on the other side? Now you can.
Ignore that, Stu Forsyth. What does he know? Well, thanks so much for joining us. It's been a real delight to chat to you, and I really hope that more law firms will understand more about the ESTAS and the review platform, because I think that's the serious and important point. For my trivial and light-hearted point, I'm looking forward to the champagne and the awards.
We will see you both in the bar.
Take care.
Definitely. Take care, guys.
Bye. A couple of weeks. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.